Well, hello. Welcome back to No Love Philly, the podcast dedicated to artists, activists, musicians, comedians, performers, breweries, pretty much anybody that makes Philadelphia awesome and the surrounding area. This time we headed out to Manayunk, where we caught up with Taylor, Nick, and Becca from Solar Circuit. These kids are doing an awesome job, man. We talked about setting up shows in Philly, the awkward return to work after playing badass shows, some crazy Mormon house parties. But right now they want to definitely let you guys know about some shows that they have coming up. They have some things that are unconfirmed right now, but that they are working on. But for now, you can definitely check them out June 9th at Bless the Woods Music Festival in Fairplay, Maryland. You can also check them out August 12th at the Summer of Love Music Festival in Wind Gap, Pennsylvania. But you also want to check out their full-length album being released this summer. And they're also going to be doing some weekly live Facebook streams, which will be, they're actually going to be releasing some details about that this weekend. And we talk a little bit about that in the podcast. But basically, you're going to be able to check out their jam sessions live. So that's something kind of awesome. They're definitely putting themselves out there. They are performing and kind of hitting the slots in Philly and on the outskirts. They appear to do really great in the Grape Room out there in Manayunk. They have an awesome following, and they're all around cool people, man. It was a chill time at their spot in Manayunk, and I really enjoyed that. Make sure you check these guys out, man. If you see that if Solar Circuit is performing, make sure that you check them out. They were a cool group. You know what I mean? That they've definitely been working on getting this stuff taken care of. So it's awesome. So congrats to these guys. Make sure that you check out Solar Circuit, and we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. We'll start it? Sure. All right. So why don't we start off with names, instruments, name of your band. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Hi, yeah, we're Solar Circuit. My name's Taylor Jameson, and I play bass and sing in the band.
And I am Becca Levan. I play the keys, synths, and I also do vocals.
And I'm Nick Orlov. I just play guitar. No vocals. None from me.
All right, man. So how did you guys get started? Is everybody here? Well, first of all, is everybody here a Philly native or?
No, actually. Taylor, I know, is from Connecticut. I'm from 2 hours up north in Scranton. Becca's from Coatesville.
Wow. So what brought you all to Philly? Like, what's the...
School.
Oh,
School
really?
First. And then from there, music just kind of took over, and we found each other through various means, and here we are.
So how did you guys form? How did that happen?
So Becca, myself, and a few other friends used to have a little project that we worked on, just kind of for fun. Didn't really go anywhere, so then we kind of branched out and met some new people, found Taylor, and we've just been jamming now for about a year. And with this group, yeah, right, with this current lineup, about a year. Just keep on pushing, see what we can do.
So where are you guys playing, or what's the what are you guys doing?
Well, we're a mix of rock, electronic, funk, really anything that catches our vibe, Nick has a lot of, I call it guitar music in him. Becca loves a lot of synth rock, but she actually has a very eclectic taste. I like a lot of electronic bands, and I know our percussionist, who's not currently here, Mike Cherubino, he's a big EDM guy. And then our drummer, he actually has a lot of like punk roots and metal roots. So we kind of have this sweet mix of everything that comes together in a really fun way.
So where are you guys performing? Like,
Well, we just played on South Street. Coming up, we're booking a lot of music festivals. Still trying to book some, and so the next one we're playing is actually at Bucks County Community College for Bucks Fest, and that is April 22nd. The lineup's online and everything. and that's really exciting. Trying to branch out and play more college towns and stuff. We've played Westchester. We played various places in Center City. We love the Grape Room in Manayunk. They're very good to us. And yeah, we're also looking for house shows and stuff. We really just like playing anywhere.
I keep hearing about these house shows, man. I'm definitely trying to make it out to one of those. They sound legendary, like with all of its pros and flaws.
Oh, yeah.
They sound amazing. Have you guys been to those?
Yeah, I'm actually from the West Philly DIY scene. I've been involved in that the past few years. And actually the same date, April 22nd, later that night, we are playing a show in West Philly. The West Philly house show scene is renowned for just being amazing.
Is it really?
Yeah.
God, I gotta check it out, man. I can't.
Yeah.
You have any good? Do you have any good house party stories?
Well, maybe not necessarily in Philly, but on tour, yeah, I definitely have some house DIY stories. Let me try to think if I can remember any. Some of them are not as. They're funny to laugh at now, but at the time they were very.
I'm down. I want to hear it.
Interesting.
Let's spit it out.
I was playing at a show in, it was one of those states in the middle of nowhere. The Mormons run it.
What do you mean?
Like the city is ran by Mormons. I can't.
Utah?
I think it is Utah.
All right.
Not Salt
I
Lake.
didn't realize there was a city that
There
was
is.
run
That's
by
Salt Lake City is run by the Mormons. I'm thinking. Well, anyway, it was some house party, and it was supposed to be outside. So we're outside, and we're playing.
You probably have to hold that mic up close.
No. We were outside, and we were playing. And it was there was art, and it was really nice. And my band had a great set. We played to about 50, 60 people outside in this backyard. And the night progresses, and the opener ended up getting so drunk that he insulted somebody that lived there, and there was a bloody fight, and it got pretty out of control. The whole time it started to rain.
Oh wow!
And the other band that was playing, their name was Days and Days. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're incredible. We set up this like makeshift tarp tent over them, and it's downpouring, and there's like 30, 40 people underneath this tarp holding it up so they can play. And it was crazy. And the whole time, the dude who threw the party was like, nobody can go in my house. My roommate doesn't want you going in the house. But, girls were going in there for the bathroom.
Right.
The other roommate got very angry, so they started fighting. There was a lot of physical altercation.
Wow, who knew the Mormons could be so rough?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It was pretty
It's
crazy.
like a whole real world series about just DIY shows, probably.
Right. And I don't think that I've seen. I think this is the first time that I've seen such a huge DIY scene, to where it's so embedded in the music culture and into the scene in general. And I'm noticing you guys, when you guys were talking about different shows that you were doing, a lot of them were. You mentioned Center City and Manayunk, but a lot of the other ones seem to be outside of the Philadelphia area. Is it easier to set up shows outside of Philly than it is to set them up in Philly?
You want to tackle that one?
We are just trying to branch out. If we play a show once or twice a month in Philadelphia, yes, we get the draw in Philly, but our ultimate goal is to become a nationally touring band. So that means that we need to start slowly breaking out. And the best thing about the DIY scene is how you make connections. Connections are what power us through this, So if some band in Chicago is like, hey, I need a date in Philly around this time, is there a band out there that can hook me up with the show? You say, yeah, I can help you. You get them the gig. You make sure you give them the money, because they can keep moving. That's really how I was able to travel across the country doing tours, is the connections that we made over several years of being a band.
So is it tough to set up shows here in Philly? I mean, it seems like the way that I've learned the process is that you can do a door split sometimes, or you pay the venue $100 and they charge at the door, and then you guys can split whatever's after that. But the other thing that I'm noticing is that there are so many different events going on all the time. So in my mind, the way that I see it is that you have a whole bunch. I mean, because this scene seems like it's endless out here. So you have a whole bunch of groups, bands, artists, musicians, all competing for that same real estate. So is it difficult to get a show?
So yeah, I think so. To that point, Philly is definitely a huge music hub, and you're right. There's a lot of really awesome music that comes in and out of Philly, and there's a lot of competition. Like you said, there's tons of events, and even we could schedule an event months in advance, and then we get down to it, and then there's 3 other events that are also awesome that I would love to go to. But there ends up being a lot of there's just so much, because there's so much great music in this town. I mean, it's just really embedded in the city itself. So yeah, it's tough because there's a lot of great music out there that not necessarily competing, obviously in a sense you are, but we would love to make connections with all of those bands. Meeting new musicians is amazing. I love it. But it's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of music out there, and there's a lot of different scenes, and there's some venues that are for certain scenes, and getting to know that, where you fit in, and where our style, like where the fans that are going to like our style and actually follow and really take to us, finding those kind of hubs is, it's a learning curve. You learn as you go. You play at a new venue, and you leave, and you're like, all right, well, maybe that's not the place for us. Maybe that crowd is looking for something else. Or then you go to another one that is also new, and you're like, that was awesome. We made so many connections, met so many people, and it's just, yeah, it's fitting in where over time find that you fit in best.
So what has been your most awesome show? Because you lit up, your eyes lit up when you talked about, oh, this one was great. So what's been your most amazing show thus far?
That's a tough. Yeah, honestly, like we said, I'm from Coatesville, which is about an hour out. It's about 15 minutes from Westchester. So I've got a lot of friends and family in the area. And when we were first starting out, really new, we reached out to Boxcar Brew Pub, which is in Westchester, and they're a really cool up and coming venue that actually have a lot of really cool bands come in and out. And they were kind of like the first place to kind of give us a real shot at, come on down and let's see your stuff. And we always get a good draw there, just because, like, it started off with, hey, it's my friends, come and see me. But over time, just through word of mouth, we ended up, last time we were there, what was it, February? We were at Sprout Music Collective, and we maxed out the room. It was sold out with a line out the door. So it was awesome. I mean, it was a really great show. The energy was, like, on fire. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, Westchester, we always get it. It's always a good time there. And then also Manayunk, the Grape Room is always a really good time. We always leave there happy, energy high, meeting new people, and they always seem to really enjoy, our sets. And Scooter, who runs the place, is a super nice guy. He's really, really awesome to work with, and they're always really nice, and it's always a good time at the Grape Room.
How often do you guys have to book these shows out? I mean, how far out in advance do you have to book them?
Go ahead. All you.
Are you the booking dude? Is that?
She is.
Oh, okay.
But
You'll have to hold it up close. You'll have to.
I'm sorry. I like to book it out at least 6 weeks. You want to give plenty of time for promotion, and another big thing about booking gigs is that you don't want to book. Say you're booking a gig for 3 weeks away. Somebody needs an artist, and then the next week somebody's offering you another great gig that you just like. Your band can't say no. The exposure's great. The pay's great. The venue's awesome. So, but you already said yes to the other gig, so you play that gig, and then you announce the pop-up date, because some of these bigger venues, they want to make sure that your draw is there, because if you're, a draw is usually good at like bi-weekly. So if you're playing a gig every other week as like a local band in Philly, you wouldn't want to go and play the Grape Room every other week. We wouldn't get the same draw. So we try to play like certain venues every 3 months. Every 3 months at the Grape Room, we seem to do really well with that. We're trying to do every 3 months at Sprout and places like that. So, like 6 weeks.
Right on, man. 6 week time frame to put together an excellent show. So, what's the worst show you guys have played?
That's a good question. I mean, when we say worst, Do you mean
She's got
our
her.
performance?
She's making a prayer hands right
Do
now.
we say performance?
I'm laughing
Because
we all three know exactly the one that all three of us are thinking.
so the one we just played was rough. Not on our end. I feel like it was actually one of our better performances. It's up on YouTube. The venue itself was really cool. The second floor anyway. It's called The Tusk, and the crowd was great. The person who put on the show, who shall remain nameless, was not affiliated with the venue at all. He didn't really make sure that we had everything we needed to succeed. And he was in one of the other bands. And it's really important that when you go out and you make these connections, like we were talking about with the DIY scene, like, hey, like, I'm going to host you, you'll host me, one hand washes the other. You can't go up there, drink half a bottle of Jim Beam, done with your performance, and then just say, okay, event's over for me. Like, you are the host of the event. You have to host it. So I would say, yes, the last show we played was a little rough for us.
No, screw that. You got to get into it. What happened? So, like, what made it horrible?
Let me. So, it really, I mean, it wasn't anything huge. It was just the fact that there's a lot that goes into it, and we also have a lot of equipment. We're a 5-piece band, and the sound. For us, we just have a lot of inputs and a lot of things going on, and when one band ends, it's like a frenzy of trying to get
Absolutely.
yourself
get that
set up.
stuff down, get the new band up.
Exactly, and you could tell the bands that are very cognitive of that, and the bands that are very considerate of, like, when we're done, if there's a band after us, we're off. Like, we grab our stuff and we're out of there, because you're cutting into their time. Your time's done. Now let the next band go on as successful as they can. And it was just rough. I mean, it was the first event that they had, really put together. So it was I think it was a learning curve for the whole experience. And we just kind of got the butt end of it because we were the last band to play. So, everything got pushed back a little bit more, and everyone's a little bit more drunk. And then it comes time for us. And we were kind of flying solo as far as, like, we're trying to set up all of our stuff, but also set up the sound. And it's just a lot. So there's no disrespect against anyone involved or the venue. The venue's, like we said, is a really cool place. No disrespect at all. It was the first go around of the event. So it was it had kinks, exactly. And I mean, and that said, it could have been a lot worse. We got up there, we made it work. We were patient. They worked with us. Once they finally understood what was going on, we got it settled, and we played an awesome set. It was shorter than we wanted, but we still played.
I have one more thing to say about it. The sound guy was also the bartender. So when the first band that played, which was the host, was done, everybody mobbed the bar. So this guy had no time to be a sound man. He's dealing with making the venue money. So and the other band was taking forever to get off. They're basically just like kicking their pedals off stage. Oh, we're gonna get off, I swear. They're hammered because they're ordering shots like in between songs.
Right.
And yeah, don't have your bartender be the sound guy. Venues, that's to you.
Taking that.
So, other than the shows that are just outside the Philadelphia area, still in like the that, are you guys touring? Are you guys hitting up like New York or Baltimore? Have you guys had any of those shows?
We are definitely looking. That's exactly what we're looking to do, is branch out to those, northeast area, to get outside of even PA. We have some festivals lined up for like Maryland and some other, outer, a little bit more south states that will be announced shortly. I think is Bless the Woods is already announced. It's so that one's in Maryland. I think it's Darlington, Maryland. I think it's late June-ish. But it's a really cool event, and there's always, we're going to be sharing the stage with a lot of really cool, similar, genre acts. And it's actually also a Lyme disease awareness and fundraiser. So it's cool, that it's 2 in 1. But yeah, that's exactly what we're looking to do, is trying to do little mini tours into those states, like New York and New Jersey. Obviously, it's a little bit easier, but getting to those, surrounding states is the first step of branching out. We're trying to do little tiny, like 4-day mini tours, and wrap it up and get as much as we can in the long weekend, and that kind of stuff.
That's awesome, man. So, what about you? Do you guys have an album out already, or go for it? What's that about?
So sure, we've got an EP out, a 4-song EP called Levitate. We released that in December, actually at the Grape Room. We had a big, real successful release party there. So you can find that on Bandcamp. It's everywhere. Spotify, you can stream it there. Bandcamp's free. Download it. Taylor's wife drew the artwork, which was super cool. So in the works now, we are planning on putting out a full-length album within the next couple of months, probably early summer.
Wow, that's soon.
June release.
Wow.
We've just got tons of material that isn't out there for anyone. You'd have to go to a live show to see it, so we want to make it more accessible, get it out there for everyone to be able to enjoy.
Where did you guys record that?
We recorded that in our home studio out in Lansdale. So we recorded everything from the drums to the guitars and the keys, mixed it ourselves, and then just sent it off to be mastered at the end.
Wow. So who did the mastering on it?
Full Circle Mastering, Mark Truella. Yeah, he did a really, really great job.
Oh wow, man! I didn't even realize that was a thing, that you could just send stuff off to go get mastered.
Yeah, for the final master, it was quick. It was like less than a week. I mean, he banged it out.
Really?
And it sounded awesome.
Wow. So what tips do you guys have for people that are just kind of like getting involved in the scene now, and just kind of like, as far as whether it's booking shows or working with other folks? Or
Persistence and consistency.
I need some consistency with this podcast, man. But go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Persistence and consistency. I'm telling you, you gotta reach out. You can't. It's very easy to get inside yourself, get inside your head when you're making art. It doesn't matter if it's music or sculpture, and be shy to put it out there. For a long time, I was like, my solo material, I was like, I don't think people like it. I kept putting it out and not getting a response, But then I found the right people to help me bring it to life. And now, people are screaming, "Oh, the eye, play the eye." And it's like, wow, that's really something. And it fills my heart with, I don't even know what to call it. Gratitude, pride. Like, it makes me happy. And the only way I would have ever done it is to be persistent and put myself out there and be consistent with who I am and who I want to be as an artist.
Anybody else?
Yep, I definitely second all of that. And then I guess just with booking, you mentioned specifically what would an advice be for booking. Really just making any connections that you can, anywhere, everywhere. No matter who you're talking to, whether you're at a show or you're at the supermarket, if you can connect on that level, then you do. And we're all outgoing, very easygoing people, and I think that goes a long way. And it's really people respond to people that they can see into them. You just make those friendships and those connections, and it takes you places, because that's who if they're going to remember someone, they're going to remember someone that was kind and portrayed those positive vibes that I feel like we really have as a group. We're doing it because we enjoy doing it. We make music because we love to make music. It is not because we're looking to be the next, whoever. I was going to say Britney Spears, but I realized that that's a really dated.
That's super dated.
I could be Britney Spears.
We can get the Clippers right now. We can make it happen now. Just in time for that next show.
I could have thought of like a more modern day example, but you got the picture. But yeah, I think it's really just persistence, consistency, definitely, because people easily forget about you. You want to be, putting yourself out there as much as you can, so that people really say, okay, they mean business. They want me to see them. And then, yeah, just with booking is just really make any friends you can, because you never know who you're going to collaborate with in the future. Everyone is worth your time. Any good advice from you, Nick or Love?
Have fun. That's the big one, really. If it's not fun, it's never gonna go anywhere. If you have to drag yourself out of bed to go to an 8-hour rehearsal on a Saturday, you're gonna play like shit. It's gonna be terrible. But yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. I mean, it is fun every time we get together to play. So as soon as it stops being fun, then what are you doing?
So Solar Circuit, man, that sounds like such a trippy acid math type psychedelic name. How did you guys come about? Whiskey.
Whiskey? Okay. Well, we were actually, when we first kind of collaborated and started, I mean, in college, and when Nick and I and some other friends were just kind of jamming loosely together, we called ourselves Euclase, which is actually a crystal that has a specific meaning for creativity and happiness. So it was, so that was our initial name, right? And then later down our steps, because every band has its many steps, we joined on with, this is even pre-Taylor still, we joined on with another friend group of ours, and we were like, okay, well, we're a new band now, we got to change our name, we can't, this is a fresh start, so let's change it up. And Solar Circuit really, I mean, we were really just tossing around tons of ideas, and that was just one that I don't even remember who specifically spit it out, but we all immediately were like, that's kind of cool. I like the vibe, and the kind of like, we put so much like subliminal meaning on it in everything that we do. It's funny. Because, we have definitely that, like you said, space, psy trance rock vibe. So that's kind of where the space goes in. We always, that just is something that just always lingers with us, because it's just cool and interesting, and it kind of fits with the synth trance thing that we have in our sound. But then the circuitry to us is kind of really, we're a band of 5 people that I know a lot of bands usually have like a front person or a leading person, but we kind of really are very collaborative. We write everything, whether it's one person who, writes it and brings it to the table, but we work together as a unit. And like Taylor was saying earlier, we come from many different backgrounds, so it's kind of like a circuitry of 5 different people that are really contributing in their own little way. And so it's kind of just a cool concept that we had that seemed like it matched our our sound, and also the way that we collaborate.
You were also talking about playing festivals, right? Are there any festivals here in Philly that you guys would like to be a part of?
Yes, many.
Go for it. List them.
I know Second Street Festival is a really cool thing that has a lot of cool artists that come out, and I think we applied to that one pretty recently. So that's one that's fun. In Philly, oh yeah, Liberty Fest in Manayunk is a cool spot. I know Gibber Jazz is a really prominent production company that puts on a lot of really cool festivals in Philly in the greater area, and we would love to collaborate with them. And there's so much. There's a lot of Death Waltz Media is a really, really big and awesome name in Philly. They put on a lot of really cool events, especially at Silk City. And they put on just like especially within our genre of kind of that jamtronic funk type, style. They're a really good central Philly hub, so that they would be awesome to get in with. R5 is another big Philly one that, they put on pretty huge events, and they would be awesome to collaborate with. There's a lot of little mini production companies that people put together, and they use it as a way of networking and collaborate with other artists and put shows on, like even within Philly and PA and kind of in the greater area. Like I know there's one, the Funky Dad is local to Philly, and they put on really cool electro shows. And there's a bunch, Groove House, Grateful Acres. There's lots of little ones, and essentially I would love to meet them all. Everyone is great.
That's awesome, man. So I didn't realize that there were that many festivals. That's kind of why I asked that question. So it seems like it's never ending, this scene. So what about touring bands, do you guys ever get put on bills with major acts, or have you guys opened up for anybody that's relatively well known, or has that happened for you, or have you learned how to navigate that to make that happen? Is it possible for it to even happen?
It's definitely possible for it to happen. There's a lot of up and coming bands in the scene that are opening for bigger acts. Recently, a band called Octave Cat, which is basically just a super group of these two bands. Is it two? Lotus and Dopapod, yeah. And they got a lot of local acts open for them at Johnny Brenda's, like bands like Muscle Tough. They're a local band that's pretty up and coming. They just actually opened with Darla and Tectonic, who, fingers crossed, we have just booked a gig with, who are, a pretty up and coming local band.
Right on. They just hit us. They were on that post as well.
Yeah. They're really cool dudes. I would definitely,
We'll make sure. I told them we'd get them on no matter
Awesome.
what. Everybody on that post, I'm going to get them on somehow.
Yeah, I can't say where it's going to be at yet because it's not 100%. It's at like 87%.
It's happening,
So,
but it hasn't been announced yet.
yeah, it's happening. But as far as big bands, I think the biggest band that we've played with, it wasn't even really in Philly, but it was definitely quite a night. Catalyst is a band. They're from the Philly area, maybe just outside, but they're a pretty big act, and they're playing festivals all over the East Coast, really. And we had a great night with them at Boxcar early on. I think it was like my second gig with you guys, and and it was quite a night. Yeah.
So it seems like this was already happening, and then you jumped into the mix, and then you jumped into the mix. Things kind of they kind of progressed a little bit, or kind of.
That's definitely what happened. We, for years and years, like, the last 7 years we've been playing. We enjoy playing. That's always been, and we've never had a shortage of creativity. It was just really finding that group that kind of really locked things in, and we went in and out of, friends, and some, we've had friends in and out of the band that just, realized that me and Nick have a commitment. We want to make it work. We want to get as much as we can out there, and we want to tour. So we've had, it's really just been the bass for some reason. I don't know why. The bass, we've been getting it, and it's, so, but it really hasn't worked out. But then, when we linked up with Taylor, it was, gave us that push to really, we finally connected with a group of at the time it was 4 before our percussionist, Mike, but, we really finally locked in with a group of 4 people where we were like, okay, this is awesome. We vibe off each other. We're all very collaborative and open-minded to each other. We all let each other speak. It's not a dictatorship by anyone at all. And he came with tons of material on his own that is, awesome. So we've been having fun. I mean, we've been writing stuff collaboratively, but also if anyone has any material that they want to bring to the table and have us play as a live band, we've been doing that. And Taylor's got tons of really cool TR solo songs that are just really fun to rework in a live band setting. So we've been doing that. So yeah, we definitely, this was, I think it was early March when we finally, we linked up, we practiced, and after the first one we were like, yep, all right, that's pretty cool. Let's do it. And it's given us a pretty good drive to keep pushing. So
where do you all practice?
In Lansdale. So our drummer owns a house, and that's where our little, our studio is in Lansdale. So it's about 30 minutes, 45 if there's traffic. We practice like, 2 to 3 weeks or days a week. And so we all 3 live here. We live in Manayunk, he lives in East Falls, and our percussionist lives in Westchester. So we all meet up in Lansdale to practice, and then, record anything that we have to record. Yeah. Yeah, we've had other bands come out to record in the studio. It's a good cost-effective way to get really decent, material out there without, spending an arm and a leg. For the full album, the Levitate was really because we were playing so many shows and we didn't have anything to give people. We wanted to be able to say, okay, great, I'm glad you loved our live show. Here's something to take home.
Right.
And so we were like, well, okay, we're playing a lot of shows. Because it's tough. We're doing everything ourselves. We're trying to write new songs, play shows, book new shows, everything. We're trying and record albums and everything. So it's just a lot for us to and promote ourselves and promote our shows, and so we're doing everything. Because that's what you got to do. You're up. We got to pay our dues. We got to do the groundwork, right? So we're doing all of it ourselves, and that's why for Levitate we decided, hey, we have a good setup, and Mike Cherubino, the percussionist, has a really good. He's taken courses and stuff on mixing and that kind of getting a good quality recording and all of that good stuff. So it was really good to have him join on. I think when did he join?
6 months ago.
Like June maybe. Sometime summerish, but he joined up as a percussionist, and he's awesome. He also plays keys, but along with him, we got all of his mixing knowledge and recording knowledge, and he has $1,000, worth of gear of recording, compressors, and everything. So we decided for Levitate, we need something now. We need something to give people. Let's bang out a 4-song EP and do it ourselves and see what happens. And it came out really well. Obviously with every album you can do better. You can push yourselves and do better. But so for the album, we're going to definitely do that, is learn from Levitate and what we think could sound better and could have been done better, and put that into our full album and see what we can get.
It's so funny, this idea, like what you were saying, is that you want to give some, something physical, tangible, that somebody that fans or that like your music can touch. But this idea of CDs seems crazy to me right now. Like, yeah, you give somebody a CD, but who has a CD player?
I know.
Like, so what do you? I mean,
yep. It's all it's. You're right. My laptop doesn't even have a CD player.
Right?
But it's definitely an older technology now. It's like giving someone a floppy disk. But
yeah. So what's the solution to that?
Something that a lot of bands are doing. Well, not a lot, but it's something. Is flash drives. So when we, obviously we're playing more.
That's already outdated now.
I know,
we're all moving to the cloud.
I know.
But go for it.
But it is at least a little bit easier. At least we still are. We know everyone has a USB port still. Till they phase that out. But yeah, USB drives, especially like a custom made one, we've looked into it. It's just it's pricey. You want to get it in bulk. So we've been spending our money is definitely something that you have to prioritize. So there's just tons of things on the list. But when we can get to it, that's a good solution, is having like a custom solar circuit little flash drive because then that way you can pictures and all of, because we have with everything, with every album or song, anything, we have art and things that we want to kind of go along with it. Levitate, the album art that Lindsay, Taylor's wife, had made. She's an amazing artist, and she kind of asked, okay, well, what's the vibe of the album? And she knows our material, so she kind of put that concept into the art. So it's cool because with a flash drive you can give the everything on it, the album art, the songs itself, and everything. But yeah, everything is the cloud. Everything is technology based, and everything is out there. You can go on right now and without a CD or anything and download download Levitate on Bandcamp. But yeah, it's just a matter of getting it into people's screens. That's what it is. It's just so. But yeah, it's tough.
So you guys all mentioned that you guys came to Philly for school. What did you guys go to school for?
Me and Nick we met at Temple. I went to school for cognitive neuroscience and psychology, and he went to school for computer science. And then the drummer actually went to Penn State, and then Mike Cherubino went to Westchester, maybe. And Taylor, what actually brought you to Philly when you came? I know it was a while ago, but what actually brought you?
I just had to get out of Connecticut. I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but it was voted like one of the number 1 states to move out of.
I was just saying, isn't it like more of a highway? That's what I always hear. It's like,
if you can drive through it, it's pretty much traffic the whole way. But really, I've been playing music my whole life, and I heard Philly had an incredible music scene, and I was very fortunate enough my sister was going to school out here, and she had like a tiny little 3rd bedroom in the back of her house, and she was like, you can have it for next to nothing, and I basically came out here, and I went to open mics, and I jammed with everybody that I could, and I just got my chops up. I just jammed as hard, and I went to the School of Hard Knocks. busted suds and paid my bills,
So my next question is, I mean, you've got a psychologist, a computer engineer here. Has anybody told you guys you're crazy for trying to form a band and make that happen? I mean, if your parents said, you know what, I really think this is a bad idea, maybe.
When we make the official, hey, I'm quitting my day job, then yes, my parents will give me that talk. But we all still work a day job because we have to, we have to support, you have to put money into anything you're going to invest into. So right now we're still working our day jobs while also doing all of that. So essentially we have 2 full-time jobs each. But yeah, eventually, I mean, and we've all talked about it, the fact that that's our ultimate goal is to eventually be a national touring band where we can say, okay, peace out, desk job. I'm doing what I want now finally and making money by doing it. That's the dream. But yeah, it's just a matter of when when we're able to pull that plug. I mean, I would love to do it tomorrow, but yeah.
So one of the things I was talking to Brian about, Brian is actually I interviewed him right before I came over here. He's the guy that started the Philly DIY group that I met everybody in, right?
Cool.
So one of the things that we were talking about is that musicians kind of like they're in this tough spot because you have this 9 to 5, right? You have this 9 to 5 position, but you don't always get paid time off or vacation for some of them, right? And so that makes touring and doing those types of things difficult. Or a lot of them are servers, dishwashers, things like that. But the problem there is that then your weekends are gone. So which one do you guys prefer? Which one do you think works out better for the musician?
Well, I know that we all essentially have a 9 to 5 schedule, and it's tough because I mean, you don't always get, you don't get paid when you don't work, and you got to take off a good amount. So that's kind of why we are kind of leaning towards, at least right now, what I was talking about earlier with little mini tours. So hopefully we can just kind of make it, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of thing, and do like a small little road trip and hit as many spots as we can. Be back to work on Monday. So that's the solution right now. It's tough and we're gonna be quite tired, but that's it's kind of what you have to do. But I can't speak to the flip side where then you have night hours and weekend hours, but I could see that has pros, but also definitely cons that go along with it just as well.
So let me ask: is it weird clocking into? So you do these awesome, amazing shows and everything like that, and then Monday you clock into your desk job. Is there any strangeness to that?
So
at all?
weird. I work at Merck Pharmaceuticals in Lansdale, and it's just funny. I feel like a child among a bunch of adults like that. I'm clearly an adult, but I don't know. It's fun. When I have that conversation with people that I work with, where somehow one way
what did you do this weekend?
Yeah. Exactly.
I went to Target. I found some new khakis.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely funny, but people are always surprised, but always very interested, And actually, I had my couple coworkers that, I mean, they're friends of mine as well, but they're coworkers. They came to see us at the Grape Room in February, so that was the first time a coworker actually came out, and they were like, wow, I knew you were in a band, but I didn't know that you were in a band. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm in a band. It's always just funny. And I think also because, the vibe that we have is just very high energy and party and, good vibes and just fun. And it's not very, it's not straight laced, which is what my job is. So it's definitely, it's funny.
Yeah, man. So I think that's another thing that I like how you said it's not straight laced. Like, we're definitely having a good time out here. You know what I mean? So it's got to be odd for your coworker to see you like that. And I mean, what about you? I mean, as a software engineer, I feel like it would almost be like more flow with your profession than it would be.
So I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, I go to work on Monday and everyone's in a button-down shirt and got their tucked-in pants, and it's like, well, what'd you do this weekend? Well, my weekend was very different than your weekend.
Right.
But again, I mean, I've had coworkers and friends come out to shows, and they have a great time. And on Monday they tell another coworker, and the next show they're out there too. So it kind of all just
Everybody wants to
works.
get away. Everybody wants
works.
to get out of that desk
Yeah.
job for a little
Yeah.
bit, right? And not be
Everyone's
so
ready to
stiff.
go out on a weekend and have fun.
Yeah.
So that's what we try to provide.
That's awesome, man. So, where can people get a hold of you guys? People want to get a hold of you. They've listened to this interview and they find you.
So all over. You go to our website at solarcircuitmusic.com, and from there you can get anywhere. You can get to YouTube and find tons of live videos. We record all of our sets. You can get to Bandcamp, get the album for free. Facebook, follow us there. There's all sorts of new things coming up real soon. We've got we'll be live streaming from our practices. So we'll have to figure out a way to make that really well known and get that.
Yeah,
out
when
there.
is that happening? When are you guys doing those live streams? I think that's important to kind of announce.
So we're still working out all the details, but there's a very good chance within the next week or two. Definitely within the month we'll be starting it. So we'll make posts about it all over the place. So go on to Facebook and like our page on Facebook, and it'll be there.
And so the goal is that you guys are going to be live streaming your practice. Is that right?
Mhm.
So people can just kind of boom, check it out. This is what they can expect during
Yeah.
for a show or whatever.
Yeah. So and it'll be a mix of we'll play a song and then we'll improvise for 20 minutes. And
how long
whatever
do jam
happens,
sessions
happens.
usually last?
It all depends. Saturdays, I mean, play for 8 hours.
Really?
Weekdays are obviously a little bit more limited because of work in the morning and traffic getting out there and all that kind of stuff. But you start playing and you just sort of see where it goes.
Right on.
Is the really great part about the unstructured portion of the band. So you've got your songs and your structured material, but then on top of that, you pick a key and a feel and you just kind of vibe off each other and see where it goes.
Bitchin'. All right, man. Solar Circuit, guys. Thank you so much for letting me come into your home out here in Manayunk and chill with you guys and learn a little bit more about you. Wish you guys all the best of luck, man.
Thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
You bet, man. Talk to you guys later.
See ya.